Hi, thanks. My name is Kevin Vacarello. I'm with Sustain Hawaii. I'm the founder of that organization. This particular presentation, I kind of cheated. I'm going to be having a bunch of quotes that you'll just read as we're going through, and I'm going to speak on my passion, and then there's a couple of slides in between that are talking specifically about Hawaii Policy Portal, which we just won the Island Innovation Fund for. And Ryan happened to be one of the judges, which is awesome. Thank you. So basically, my background in the passion for sustainability and moving towards scalable self-sufficiency comes from a very strange marriage that my two parents had. One was extremely radical. They're both from the 60s, so hippies. One an environmental activist and Native American Hawaiian activist. And my father, a hardcore intellectual who got a chemistry degree and sent to Northwestern on academic scholarship. So I kind of had this left brain, right brain thing going on with my parents, which drove me to moving heavily towards sustainability activities. I studied astrophysics, and then I studied peace studies in conflict resolution. So sustainability became a natural, fertile substrate for me. What I found was that there's three particular threads that we need to focus on for systemic change. Advocacy and policy issues are one. The second is entrepreneurship, and the third is education. So we use that as kind of a lattice for all of our activities that we focus on, which is food, energy, water, waste, and transportation, housing, those types of issues. So to Policy Portal, because everything ultimately is going to have policy implications, we wanted to actually create a really powerful tool after doing a lot of global and local best practice research. What we found is that at the federal level, there's transparency pieces and there's action pieces. Nobody really has integrated anything in particular. So we wanted to take that amalgamation of what's existent federally as well as what's happening locally. And there's a really, really small amount of these. They usually hit like one or two function sets. So after doing all that research, we decided, okay, let's create this integration of them, build them on open source technology, and show, here's what the lay of the land was. These are the local industries, these are the national industries, and these are all the function sets that we've defined on the action and the transparency side. We want to provide high levels of accessibility, high levels of transparency. Those are primary to start facilitating a lot of change. So we get back into some more quotes. They're interesting quotes that I specifically chose because freedom is one of the greatest issues that's fundamentally driving me. So the level of accessibility and transparency that we're able to provide through technology helps facilitate the types of freedoms that we would prefer. So we're using these tools to enable everybody who normally doesn't have that type of accessibility to then have it. Those in the neighbor island who can't come in to the ledge are now able to come down to the ledge, or to have their voice heard through online testimony, through email advocacy, through letters to the editor, to having online petitions. So that to us was critical. We also are engaging with video testimony. So that's a new piece that we're integrating into the platform so that there's actually a face and voice with that email testimony that's being submitted. So we wanted to have high levels of those pieces so it's much more personal and people actually do have that voice with very few barriers associated to it. These are a couple screenshots of our up and coming new UI. The other things on the transparency side that we're doing, there's three parts of transparency. We have transparency that's following everything that the elected officials are voting on a per committee stop basis. We're tracking the money. So who's actually donating to which elected officials at what time. And ultimately we want to get to what dollars are they spending and how do those monies, how do the donors actually vote. And we're going to use published information that actually verifies that. So we kind of close the circle of transparency. And we can take that information and use it as informed action to then facilitate the changes that we want at the legislative level. I don't know if this is going to play or not. But that was an example of a video that we can put in, and I kind of was just playing around with it just to show how quick it is to take your video, post it, and then that's immediately categorized into our platform. Oops. And then that platform actually is accessible for everybody to see whose video testimonies are what. Nelson Mandela, to close out the freedom theme that I had, Nelson Mandela and then Dr. Seuss were the two closers. And this whole thing is about freedom, and ultimately we want to push freedom as far as possible, not only for our fellow persons, but for all living things. So I thought Dr. Seuss was the perfect close for that. Thank you very much.